Welcome back to Fast Market on the TD Ameritrade Network. I'm Tom White, joined by my co-host Kevin Hinks. But let's bring in our next guest for our cash tag segment. It's going to be Harrison Sweeney, research analyst at LikeFolio. Thanks for being here, Harrison.
Thanks for having me, guys.
All right, so we're talking about an overlooked stock that's outperforming the overall market pretty severely. Shares are up nearly 5% so far this year, and this BJ's Wholesale. Just full disclosure, I have never been in one. I have never seen one. I'm guessing a competitor to Costco. It's a wholesale type place. You have to have a membership to shop there. Give us the rundown. Is this positive data because the stock's doing well so far this year, Harrison?
Yeah, I actually also, full disclosure, have never been inside one myself either, but you're correct. This is a direct competitor to Costco. They have that same wholesale club business model where they provide consumers with a membership, and that our consumers buy a membership, and then they're able to get bulk discounts on food and other essential items. And looking at the economic macro trends right now, it is clear that inflationary pressures are causing a lot of pressure for the consumer. The trends are looking pretty bad. Obviously, you don't necessarily need LikeFolio data at this point to know that things are getting tight for the American consumer. And you could see, besides inflation fear, which remains the top line there, food price concern and deal discovery here are the two that we're really sort of keying in on, because they're both actually tailwinds for these bulk retailers like Costco, like BJ's Wholesale Club. Now, BJ's is a much smaller player here when we're looking in the grand scheme of things, but we're seeing incredibly promising growth in their underlying mentions. So, Costco, Walmart with Sam's Club, they're both well-established names in this industry, but they're just not showing the same level of explosive growth that we're seeing for BJ's. Now, looking at this quarterly mentioned bar chart, you can see that in the current quarter, which is set to end at the end of July, they're on pace for, that will be their highest quarterly volume of mentions. If you exclude that COVID anomaly quarter there, then this will be their highest ever. And that's on pace for 92% year over year, which is phenomenally high rate of growth for any company. And considering, as I mentioned earlier, that all of these negative economic trends are tailwinds for this company, that things are looking very good, and the company has performed incredibly well. I mean, there is a reason that shares are outperforming the market right now. The company is outperforming the market, and I really like this outlier grid here, because it gives you a good sense of the scale of where BJ's is at compared to its two larger competitors, Costco and Sam's Club. It really is still a much smaller entity, and that bears out when you look at the number of store locations and the actual amount of sales that the company is doing as well. BJ's is got roughly 200 locations right now, Sam's Club closer to 600, Costco over 800, and the gap's even wider if you look at revenue. BJ's is only clearing roughly 20% of what Sam's Club does in a year, and they're not even at 10% of Costco's annual revenue yet. So they do have a large opportunity still to continue to grow within this market space and steal market share from the big dogs. So we really like BJ's as a long-term name that you maybe haven't heard of, but has a great trajectory and great opportunity to succeed considering the current environment.
Yeah, Tom and Harrison, the reason you guys have never been in a BJ's is because it's all East Coast. All their shops are on the East Coast. So three Midwestern guys, 2 in Chicago, 1 in Louisville, that we're not in their market. But it's interesting. You're right. They are small compared to Walmart and Sam's Club and Costco. But if you look at the chart and you lay Costco's chart on top of BJ's, they're very highly correlated, right? They've had basically the same rally in their stock as Walmart has had. I've got that up on my Thinkorswim platform, and it's highly correlated. It looks like they sell a lot of perishables, right? Like probably fruit and things like that, and a lot of refreshed different brands, but they also sell, it looks like, a ton of gas. Gasoline, they had, here, their net sales rose by 16.3% to 4.4 billion. Ex fuel, it was only 4% though. So it sounds like they're the gas station of choice on the East Coast. So, but my question to you, Harrison, is this. Here's the question from here's the statement from their CEO. Our business model remains more relevant than ever in the current inflationary environment. Harrison, my question to you is, does LikeFolio show that this warehouse club membership business model, is that what's firing on all cylinders? Because, Walmart stock got hit, Target got hit, but Costco, BJ's, these companies that you pay a membership fee and then you're probably more loyal, they seem to be killing it in this environment.
Yeah, and I think it's interesting. I do agree with that statement that it really is the type of business lends itself incredibly well to how consumers are feeling right now. It just feels like a safer option for them. And I do also think it's very interesting that you keyed in on gas, because I think that's also huge right now. That wasn't on the trend chart that I showed earlier, but it is a major driver for Costco and for BJ. They have this discount that extends to gasoline, and with gas price concerns right up there with food concerns, it's a major driver for these businesses. And yeah, that's something that you look at Target and Walmart, and they're not Target's not even in the gas business. I'm not sure about Walmart, but right. It's definitely just a difference of the perception. The consumer's perception of the savings is far greater at these clubs where you pay for the membership and then you're receiving the bulk discounts, as opposed to what it is just a battle between Walmart and Target of who can have the lowest prices on these singular items. They're not even offering the same types of items as the likes of Costco and BJ's. And with food price concern being such a issue right now, consumers really are focused in on what they perceive to be the greatest value, and that's these bulk discounts.
Yeah, and Harrison, on the one chart that you guys had, the full company dimensions chart up 92% year over year. Now, we saw that lull post, the pandemic kickoff where we saw records for this company there, but up 92% year over year. And this is probably a growth story. So do you equate this to, they're a smaller player, but that also provides more runway. So is your data reflective of that, where they're just opening 4 new stores, Indiana, Ohio, New Jersey, Virginia. So as they continue to expand, that's only going to probably increase based on what we're seeing as far as inflation and the ability for people maybe to start stocking up, especially if we get into a recession.
Yeah, that is typically what we see with companies that are growing fast, especially when they're opening new locations. That really helps contribute to a rise in overall mention volume. I mean, there's more potential areas for people to be visiting the stores and talking about the stores, and that all gets baked into the mention growth that we're seeing. I mean, it's probably a significant factor alongside the inflationary pressure that's driving consumers who might not have been shopping so religiously at these stores before. Now they are. And yeah, people are going to be stocking up. They're going to be searching for the cheapest gas possible with the prices as high as they are. And that's a great tailwind for BJ's. And this is a growth story. I mean, they still have a long way to go within this market, but it's kind of dominated by 1-2 players. So they definitely have a great opportunity to differentiate themselves and steal customers from Costco specifically, but Walmart as well.
Yeah, and if you've seen the monthly numbers on Costco, the opportunity in this particular space as they continue to expand pretty big. Now, they don't have earnings until mid-August here, Harrison, but when you look at this company, do you guys have a score based on what it might be today?
Yeah, I did check this right before the show, and it is a significantly bullish score, plus 50. Now, compare that to Costco, which is sitting at a very neutral -6. This is a definite bullish options trade for us if we're going to be trading this earnings. And I would expect, given the current trajectory of the mentions and the underlying demand, that bullish score is going to persist until their earnings are upon us in a couple of weeks. So, yes, we like it short term and long term.
All right, great rundown here, Harrison. Appreciate it. Have a great weekend.
You too, guys. Thanks.
All right, that's Harrison Sweeney, research analyst at LikeFolio, breaking down the data on BJ's Wholesale.